That is the sound of a monster. Oh, let me do my little thing. Yeah. Yo, what is up, guys? Ducati DC here. Welcome to another video. We are here at the Falls Church Coleman Power Sports. That is in Falls Church, Virginia. Of course, I am going to put the link in the description down below because these guys are legends. Barry just walked me through all of the systems, which I will either include in this video or in another because it's incredibly informational. And then Bobby Hernandez, he is hooking it up. So please come check these guys out. We are on the beautiful 2018 Ducati V4S. That is right. This is the $27,500 V4S, and I am so excited to ride it. Just gonna sneak in here. Real quick before we get started, I just want to thank the sponsors of this video, Rollick Outdoors. You guys know I've been working with Rollick for a few months now, and they are absolutely incredible. They are allowing me to continue my dream of riding and reviewing these beautiful motorcycles. There's Coleman Power Sports over there. GoRollick.com is connecting consumers like me to certified dealers like Coleman Power Sports to get the best pricing, inclusive deals, and the most transparent buying experience. So please go check them out in the top left, or your left, my right. How interesting is that? Corner, or the first link in the description, GoRollick.com. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my gosh. So, what a polar opposite. You guys have seen possibly the video. If not, it's coming up very soon. I just took out a 2018 Honda Goldwing. Now, I took it out before this bike, which is an incredibly interesting thing to me because now I'm certainly not comparing the two, but it's in my mind. It's the last bike that I rode, so I'm not naturally comparing this to my S1000R. Oh, that's an interesting clutch point. As much as now I'm thinking about how comfortable that bike was versus how just incredibly aggressive this one is. This is a proper motorcycle. The legends at Coleman Power Sports, man. The fact that they threw me the keys gave me the, best information that I could ever want about this. He rocked me through all the modes. You guys are definitely going to get that info, whether it's in this video or if I make an entirely different video about that. This might be a two-parter because that was just so informative and really something that you'd want to know if you were thinking about buying this motorcycle. So currently we are in sport mode, and gosh, let me wait to get out of this traffic and then I'll tell you guys all about this beautiful bike. This has 473 miles on it, so we're getting close to the 600 mile marker there. I have to get used to that. I'm trying to find the clutch bite point here. So as this bike is under 600 miles, I will give you the PSA. I am not supposed to take this above 6,000 RPM. I'll probably get close to it or maybe just above it, but I am going to respect the fact that this is a brand new motorcycle. Of course, you can see right there that it redlines somewhere at the 14,500 mark. So I won't even be scratching the surface in this video, which is insane that I've already felt that it has heaps of torque. Heaps of torque. I mean, that's mind-boggling. Alright, so traffic is starting to move. Let's talk about this thing. This is the successor to the Panigale 1299, and more importantly, this is not a twin. This is a V4. It's a 90-degree Desmodici Stradale V4. And that's the last time I'll do an Italian accent because I will get myself in trouble. We have an 1103cc power plant putting out 214 horsepower and 91.5 pound-feet of torque. That's insane. It's the most powerful bike that Ducati has ever produced for the road. Well, I won't say that this one is because that is where the Speciale comes in. There are three variants of the Ducati V4, the standard V4, the V4S, which is what I'm on, and the V4 Speciale. Now, the biggest thing that differentiates the, let's call them common folk V4s, the V4 and the V4S, are these bad boys. These are the Öhlins Smart, like 2.0, adaptable electronic suspension, and the gorgeous forged aluminum wheels. Now, The base V4 has a show a big piston fork and cast aluminum wheels. The Speciale has the Öhlins, the forged, and it has 226 horsepower and 98 pound-feet of torque. You kiss your mother with that mouth after you say smut like that. Oh my God. Like I said, I'm trying to do the best I can to adhere by the rules of the dealership, and even at 6,000 RPM, this is such a bike. 214 horsepower. Let's talk about that, because that is a number to talk about. That's a very impressive number. This is a 384 pound bike. 384 pounds. Now, that's a dry weight, and I didn't find anywhere the wet weight. I'm sure I could take this to some sort of a municipal dump site and put it up on one of the trash scales, but I would never get a call back from a dealership again. So we're gonna have to stick with that statistic. But what an incredible machine. And if you saw the clip from me talking to Barry, one of the things that I find so incredible about this, and I'm going to say that word a million times today, is just how thin these V4s are. And all Ducatis. I mean, the Ducati 1299 was a little bit thinner than this, but the fact that they've gone from a twin to a 90-degree V4 and they've kept it this thin is absolutely wild. It has so much power. I haven't ridden a super sport bike quite this severe in a very long time, and one thing I can say is that the 32.5-inch seat height definitely kind of shows itself, and it's just such a steep bike too, so you're sitting up high and you're sitting forward, and that gives you this amazing ability to really feel what the motorcycle is doing. She boogies hard. Hi. Hello. There's so much to this. I don't even know where to begin. There's so many stats. There's so much incredible information about this motorcycle. It's got an up and down quick shifter. Clutchless downshifts. Amazing. It has a IMU gimbal that is basically reading everything into a lean angle ABS, lean angle traction control system. I think Ducati and NASA should start working together. It just seems appropriate. Alright, so a few more of the little statistics. Like I said, 32.5-inch seat height, so it is a fairly tall bike at a 30-inch inseam. I definitely can't flat foot this, but I certainly have no problem maneuvering it. I mean, it's very lightweight. It's very thin too, which helps you get your feet down. It doesn't have this wide seat that you know, extends the way that your legs get to the ground. It does have the up-down quick shifter. This model has traction control. It's got ABS. It's got wheelie control. It has braking, like rear brake, what's it called, lift, so that the rear wheel doesn't lift off when you're doing forceful braking on the front. It has everything, and all of it is lean angle. It has Ducati slide control. I don't know if you guys remember the Yamaha R1M having that pretty incredible slide control that let Baron von Grumble leave insane black marks when he's taking turns, because he could just get on it and the computer would figure it out. Wild. Real quick while we're stopped, this is clearly like a Ducati performance part. I don't believe it comes stock with this carbon fiber bit here, but it's really, really pretty. And as he was saying, the battery is here, and then the tank runs down and under the seat, and that helps keep the bike so thin, which is just mind-boggling. It boggles the mind. It sounds so beefy. This has the very Ducati underbelly exhaust system. This is a stock exhaust on this bike. I'm sure that you can get Termes or a full Acura system on it, and it would sound absolutely mesmerizing. But I will say, the stock exhaust on this sounds so good. What this bike competes against, in my opinion, is, of course, the Aprilia RS V4. Another big, powerful V4 super sport bike. It's Italian too, which definitely makes it an even more internalized competition, if I'm honest. And you know, I've been on the RSV4 and it's quite an amazing bike, but Ducati is really not holding back any punches when it comes to this thing. The shifts are incredibly smooth and crisp. The automatic downshifter works brilliantly. The upshifter works very nicely too, and that was at, you know, very low load. Oh my god, it sings. It's an orchestra of power. You know, when Mozart went deaf, he took the legs off his piano and he sat on the floor so he could hear the vibrations. In his most deaf state, he would hear this bike without issue. Okay, so, oh, we don't have a minute. This is about to turn green. But it has a really intuitive system that Barry walked me through. I'll try and either insert that clip or again, whole new video of it. We did go over just briefly the launch control, although he was like, well, I'm not going to show you that, which I totally understand, considering it's a demo. However, I accidentally got into it, because you just press this button down here, and it tells you have like X amount of launches remaining. There's a proper start. I honestly don't know what else to say about it. I just don't. I mean, think about all of the top-of-the-line components, mash them into the most beautifully styled Italian motorcycle, and you have this. It's so good. It's so stinking good that I hate it. Because it's ruining me. No, of course I don't hate it. I absolutely adore it in every single way possible. Let's get past this little rocky section. Doing the best I can to keep it under 6. There is very little you can say sometimes when you ride a motorcycle that is just this good. Albeit a little bit firm. This is a special day on a very special bike. I guess, thank you, Ducati. for making a monster. Now, he did leave the suspension in dynamic mode, so like I said, it's electronically adaptable, so it is changing on the fly, rebound and compression to kind of meet the road conditions, but it's a firm suspension, and I don't believe it has any mode that would be, you know, a soft setting like the BMW S1000R that I own has. This is really a race bike, you know, and no longer is there a wet setting. It's street, sport, and race. So everything about it screams, we're gonna go fast. I will say, you know, being a V4 and still being a Ducati, there is a bit of vibration. My right hand is a little bit numb, but that could be just because of how far forward I am. I don't know that that's engine related. I think it's just, you know, I'm not used to the super sport position where you do have a bit more weight in your wrists because I'm not using my core. I need to be clenching the tank with my legs a bit and using my core to stay upright. And we are back. Little battery swap-a-roo, and we're recording, which is very important on a bike like this. Unfortunately, we do have a truck in front of us now. The price you pay for swapping out a battery, but this guy's boogieing. I love this loop from Coleman Power Sports. It's a nice 40-miler. You know, it takes us through this beautiful country in Clifton, and then it also gives me the idea of what it would be like, you know, owning it as a commuter, because I do a lot of highway miles, 66, 495, express lanes, little bits of traffic. You know, Falls Church is in a much more densely populated area than this, so there's a lot more cars around over there. So it gives me the perfect across-the-board look, snippet, if you will, of what a motorcycle ownership experience would be. You know, I only get these bikes for a little bit, but in that time I have to make some pretty big assessments. Ooh, and that reminds me, I've been rating my bikes on a scale of 1 to 10. The Ducati V4S. What do I give it? This, if I had to think of something, would be about an 8.7. And the reason it's not a 9 or above, hear me out. Power, 10. Looks, 10. Equipment, 10. Comfort, 6. Usability, 6. You know, it's little things like that that bring this down. The fuel light on these bikes apparently comes on at 80 or 90 miles, you know? And it's not the biggest fuel tank, and you're about getting 30-ish miles per gallon or 35 miles per gallon, depending on how you ride. It's very expensive. It's going to be expensive to insure, so practicality, those things all fall into play. So it's little things like comfort and, you know, potentially the maintenance costs going forward. It's a Ducati, it's going to come with a little bit higher ownership costs. So those bring practicality, you know, much further down than something like, you know, I gave a 9+ rating on the Goldwing, and that's because just across the board it does a lot of really cool things. If I could give this 12s or 15s for styling and power, I absolutely would, but the scale goes to 10, and thus the numbers can only lie between there. If it had nothing to do with realisticness of ownership or price or any of that, or gas mileage or comfort, this is a 10. This is a dime piece. This bike is incredible. It looks, I mean, here's the thing too. I've seen pictures of it, and I think it looks 10 times better in person than it does in pictures, because I was not a huge fan when I first saw it. I'm a huge fan of the 1299 Panigale. I love the way that that bike looked and continues to look, considering BMW Ducati sells the one of the like higher end versions still. And then I saw this and I said, like, oh, okay, you know, it kind of looks like the Super Sport, which I wasn't an enormous fan of the design cues on that either. But in person, it's so pretty. The lights, the looks. It's trouble. Barney Rubble trouble. I am doing the best I can to keep it low in the rev range. I am trying, guys. It's not easy. On the highway, it's perfectly comfortable. You know, obviously there's quite a bit of wind around my helmet, and it's, you know, this is the stock windscreen up here. Maybe if there's a double bubble option, that would help you, especially in this position. My chest feels absolutely fine. It's a very substantial fairing, so that's not an issue. The only thing that I feel strain in is, at this point, my wrist, and that's it. Because for me, the high sets here, that's never bothered me. I don't have exceptionally long legs. And the other thing is the heat. The heat is really not that bad on these. It gets a little bit hot still in the rear. I could definitely feel it pretty heavily in my thighs when I was going stop and go. But when you're moving, it's no big deal. Whereas sometimes on an S1000RR, which I've ridden many a times, the heat from that, even while moving, is just so blistering. And especially on the 1299 with that wraparound pipe up at the top, that used to get you really, really bad. Whereas this has the underbelly exhaust, which is just so pretty. And of course the tubing can still run up there, but whatever they've done, if they've heat shielded it or something, it's working very well. Oh, guys, what an absolute legend of a day it has been, and I cannot thank Coleman Powersports enough. I'm heading back to the dealership right now. I'm only about a mile and a half away. And I've just had the experience of a lifetime, you know, getting to ride these bikes. I gotta figure out that and just give it more gas, I guess. Getting to ride these bikes is absolutely a privilege, not a right. It is something that I am beyond privileged to get to do. And I'm very thankful that they've trusted me with it, you know. And the other thing is that I'm incredibly happy to be working with Rollick Outdoors. I cannot stress enough, if you are looking for a bike, it is really a very cool way to find the best deals and really transparent information in what can sometimes be a cloudy environment, which is the motorcycle or the recreational vehicle buying environment, just because it's not the car buying environment. They provide that information. Please go to GoRollick.com. Again, linked your left, my right corner top, and also linked in the description down below. It's been such a treat, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.